Well, would you look at the time? What do you mean you don't know what time it is? What are you, stupid? Obviously, it's that time of the season where we look back on the season and review it, so let's get to it. So what's up, guys? It's your boy Jet here, and welcome back to some Fortnite. Today, we're going to be taking a look back at Chapter 7 Season 3 Runners, and just discussing what I think's been good about it, what I think's been bad about it, and yeah, just review the season as a whole. Now, disclaimer, this is my own opinion about the season. If you disagree, and go fuck, that's completely fine. Now, my overall thoughts in the season, just briefly explain them here. Well, I do like this season. I think it's a great season, to be honest, but it does have quite a few issues, and we'll get to those as the video progresses. Now, there is obviously only one place we could possibly start at when it comes to runners, and that is now, when it comes to the map for this season, I did have my expectations a bit low for it, especially because of the trailer that they initially put out before Runners came out. And no, I don't mean the trailer where the guy from Fortnite hit the gritty. Actually, wait, that was the Warframe event, I'm pretty sure. You get what I mean. Judging from the trailer and from my own expectations, I thought they were only going to change a small bit of the map, like around where Battlewood was on the Golden Coast. And we had probably the best live event I have ever seen in my life, and of course I was on holiday and didn't get to stream or record it. You love to see it. And what I don't think any of us expected from the event was the entire map to change. Like, what the shit? Language! I don't even know where to start with this map. Like, they basically changed mostly, well, all of it. And during the middle of a chapter too, like, that is absurd. Now, I will say this about the Golden Coast. I did actually, unlike most people, like the Season 1 and 2 maps. And while I did like them, I have to say, I think the Shattered Coast is just way better than those two maps combined. I don't know what it is about this map. I just really like it. Like, I feel like it's because of the colors on the map and just, like, how diverse it is in terms of, well, all the biomes. And obviously, if you're playing on the map, like, it just looks absolutely stunning. Like, I love this map. It's probably my favorite Season 3 map of all time. And plus, most of the POIs here are quite good. There is one notable one that is pretty bad, but we'll not talk about it here. I'm not going to talk about every POI, because otherwise I'll be here all day, but I'll go over the ones I think are the most notable. Calamari Canyon, I have to say, probably my favorite POI this season, and it's mainly due to the fact that it's basically just Squibbly Shores if it was placed in a desert. Fake man, I love it. A little downgrade from Squibbly Shores, sure, but I still really like the POI. It's probably my favorite on this map. Chicken Sanctuary, it's basically New Sanctuary if it was placed in the jungle or tropical biome of the map, and I think it's way better than the Sanctuary. Yes, it's missing the giant underground section, but it still has the giant vortex in the middle of the POI, and plus they've added a lot more smaller buildings throughout the POI and filled them with loaded loot, and in my personal opinion, it is an upgrade over New Sanctuary. Then you have Golden Grove, which is another 7 base that's located in the autumn biome this time. I really like this POI. I don't know what it is, I just really like it. Don't really have too much to say about it, and there's also this, like, underground area beneath the POI, which has, like, these 2 mini reality trees, which I think is a very neat area to add to the POI. Overall, really like it. And you have the Battlewoods, which, unless you're a dumbass,
I beg your pardon?
It's a remixed version of Battlewood Boulevard from the Golden Coast, and in my opinion, it's way better than Battlewood Boulevard. I think my main problem with that POI is it was too big. I guess what they were trying to go for is to make it, like, the tilted of the map and, like, the main attraction, but in my opinion, they just made it way too big, and the actual biome it was in was really ugly, too. But with Battlewood Boulevard, not only is it a lot smaller, but it's in a much better biome and just looks generally better. And it's not a giant maze where you'll just get lost, and there is still a really good amount of loot for the amount of people it can hold. In my opinion, an upgrade over the original Battlewood. Sinister Strip is basically Sandy Strip if it was taken over by a Dark Voyager and was placed in the jungle biome. I really like this POI. I think it's quite good. I mean, I already did like Sandy Strip, so the Dark Voyager taking over it, in my opinion, just made it even better. Don't really have too much to say about it. I really like it, and there's 2 neat little secrets here. First, you have this, like, prison cell bit underneath, which contains loot, which you can get to by disabling 2 of the security grids that are about the underground bit of the POI. And then there's also a vault in, I think it's underneath the shape, I'm pretty sure, which also is a bunch of loot, and you can open this vault by getting a key card from basically any chest that's on the map, so it is kind of RNG based. Overall though, I really like the POI. And now we have 2 POIs which did actually make it from the Golden Coast, the first of which being Wonky Land. I mean, I don't have too much to say about it. It's Wonky Land, or as I call it, Wook Land. Really good POI, and, well, now instead of it being on, like, the top section of the map, it's on the top right of the map in the autumn biome. I like it. And then you have Latte Landing, which is pretty much in the exact same spot and is mostly the same from how it was in the Golden Coast. Except now it's in the autumn biome, which I think is a good change for the POI. I really like that. I have no idea how it survived Shattered though. Like, I'm just saying, the Ice King put a giant Infinity Blade slash through the entire POI and it just made it out unscathed. Sure, why not? We have Frosted Flats here in the autumn biome, which is like the remains of the Ice King's castle from Frigid Fortress mixed with like a town, suburban area. I'm pretty sure that Big Craig already mentioned this, but I do have to agree with him. It really does remind me of like Coney Crossroads mixed with like Alti Splits from Chapter 4. And I really like that. I think it's a really good POI. And just like Sinister Strip, there's also a vault under here where you can get the key card by just searching the chests. Really good POI. And now the final one that I think is worth mentioning is Heatwave Harbor. It's kind of like a smaller city POI in like the bottom left of the map in the jungle biome. Once again, don't have too much to say about it, but I really like it. I think it's good. So overall, I think the map is a complete upgrade from the Golden Coast, despite me liking said Golden Coast. There's a couple main POIs in here that I think could do if getting changed up. Chop Chop and Sunken Shores. Apart from that, I really like this map and I'm interested to see how it evolves in Season 4. And now this is obviously the most important section of the video is the Battle Pass, which we're going to go through. If you're not interested in the pass, just skip to this timestamp where we'll talk about the loot pill and stuff. So the first skin we have here is the Guardian, who is for some reason a member of the Seven. Overall, I would say probably my second favorite skin in the pass, and I really like how customizable he is as well. And the cool feature with him is you can change the sprite that's piloting the map with whatever ones you have already found while playing the season, which I think is really cool. For some reason, that doesn't apply for the variants too. I really hope they add that in Season 4, maybe. Then you can change like the helmet and body and stuff like that. Overall, really like the skin and is probably my second favorite from this Battle Pass. Now we have the Void Blade here, who I didn't really like at first, but over time, it has grown on me. I really like the design. Reminds me of like Focus, if she was an actually good skin. Plus, I like that she's related to like the Cubes and the Dark Voyager, and overall, great skin. I really like her. Then we have Cluster, who's the meme skin of the season. He's okay, I guess. Like I said before, I'm not really a fan of the meme skins, but I actually don't mind him. I don't think he's too bad. And he has like a bunch of edit styles too for some reason. So overall, I think he's alright. Then we have Heatwave PJ. He is a remix of the item shop skin PJ if you're dense. Basically just PJ if she was in like summer attire. I'm not too much of a fan of the first style, but the nightlife style I do really like. I actually think this style really improves the skin, and overall, good skin. I like her. Then we have Wolf. I'm gonna be honest, this guy is pretty forgettable, I have to say. Like, he's okay, but I don't know, he just seems like a filler skin who should have been in the shop, but for some reason is in the pass. I have no idea why. Overall, though, he's okay, I guess. Also, why on earth does he look like Cypher PK when the helmet is off?
Suck my dick, bitch!
Then we have Dylan, who I have to say is probably my least favorite skin in the pass. I don't know what it is, I just don't really like her. Like, I get why people do, but personally, just not the skin for me. And then we have Vanguard Sloan, who is probably my favorite skin in the pass. I mean, it's basically just Sloan in like a modern day fit. Like, you can't really go wrong with Sloan. And plus, the default style for her is already good, but I think what makes the skin even better for me personally is the innovation style that she has for completing some of the weekly challenges. I really like this, and seeing Sloan as a member of the Seven is really cool to me. My only complaint with the skin, though, is you can't put the helmet on any of the other color schemes. As incredibly stupid in my opinion. Like, you can do that with every other member of the Seven, so why is Sloan specifically locked to this white edit style? Let me use it on the default style, please. Apart from that, though, my favorite skin in the past. And then the tier 100 here is John Wick Pen and Ink.
Need something robust, precise.
I mean, I think he's a good skin. I like him just as much as the original John Wick, but I don't know why he's in the past. It's just a very random choice to me. I'm not saying the skin is bad, of course. I think he's great, but a bit of a weird choice for a tier 100. But overall, I do like him. Just a bit puzzled as to why he's tier 100. And also, he has a Simpsons style, which is pretty cool. So overall, I do think the pass is okay-ish, but in my opinion, a major downgrade from last season's Battle Pass in Showdown. Oh boy, now we get to the juiciest bit of the video, which is the loot pill and updates and stuff. And there is quite a bit to go through. For reference, by the way, in my notes for Chapter 7 Season 2's review, it is over 8,300 characters. My notes for this review I'm currently doing is over 11,000 characters, which is absurd, so...
Fucking hell, man.
I'm finished.
Let's get cracking. I will just get this out of the way with Chapter 7 Season 3's loot pill. I think it's good, but in my opinion, once again, a major downgrade from Showdown. It's a very common theme of this video, I have to say. All right, let's get into the returning weapons. We have the Warforged AR. I hate this thing. I don't like it. It's basically just a combat AR if it was like a bajillion times worse. And I don't know why they didn't just keep the combat from last season. The Striker Pump. I don't like this shotgun. I really hate it.
Beat your goddamn ass, you son of a bitch.
In my opinion, one of the worst shotguns that has ever seen life in this game. That doesn't even make any sense, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I still think the Hammer Pump is worse, but I don't know why they didn't just keep the Iron Pump from last season. Like, that shotgun was literally made for Chapter 7, and also wasn't as inconsistent compared to the Striker Pump. So, yeah, I don't know why they didn't just keep the Iron Pump. Maven Auto. I have a bit of a weird love-hate relationship with this gun, because I actually did like it in Chapter 4, but I don't know what it is in Chapter 7 Season 3, but it just feels really bad to use. I feel like every single time I shoot a bot with this thing, it kills it in, like, 1 to 2 hits. But whenever I use it on a real player, I feel like I'm literally just shooting them with a Nerf gun or hitting them with marshmallows, and it just does absolutely no damage. And overall, I just think it's a major downgrade from the twin hammers that were introduced in Chapter 7. Also, Wolf has a mythic one for some reason, I don't know why. And we have the Flax SMG, which I really like the Flax SMG. I think it was a pretty underrated gun in Chapter 7 Season 1, then they vaulted it in Showdown, and now they brought it back. Overall, I really like this SMG. Probably one of my favorite ones of all time. And we have the Stinger SMG, which was last seen in Chapter 6 Season 4. I think it's good. I think it's a good all-around SMG. It gets the job done, but in my opinion, just use the Flax instead. It's way better. Oh boy, now we have to talk about the king of this season, which is known as the Ranger Pistol. I don't know what it is with this gun, but this is literally the best gun in the game at this moment. Like, it just overshadows not even just the ARs, but everything in general. I don't know what it is about the Ranger Pistol, but it is busted as hell, even after it got nerfed a bunch. So overall, probably the best gun this season. Then we have the hunting rifle, which I do like the hunting rifle, and it's nice to see a sniper back in the loot pill, but I do think it was a little too good, mainly due to the fact that for some odd reason, they made the hunting rifle hit scan before it hits 100 meters, and then after that, it's a projectile. I don't know why they didn't just keep it like a projectile, no matter what distance, but overall, like the hunting rifle. And we got a few other items then vaulted that aren't weapons, one of which being the Rift Goo, which I think is a pretty balanced moving item. Takes some risk. If you use it, people can follow you. I like it. Got the pulse scanner from Lawless, which I think was a nice thing to add back to the game. Then we have the business turret. Yeah. This thing, I don't like it. We have the Shieldbreaker EMP, which was only a good counter to people who try to run away in cars, but is also good for the business turret because it disables it. And then for some reason later on the season, they just vaulted it. Why? And they also brought back motor boots this season, which was pretty cool. It's nice to see some old vehicles from Fortnite's past return, but I don't know about you, I have not seen these things at all this season. Like, they're very difficult to find. So if you're gonna keep them around Fortnite, up the spawn rate, please, I want to use them. And the last returning item is the Guardian Shield, at least for Zero Build. I'm pretty sure it's only in Zero Build. Once again, similar to the business turret, this thing. All right, now that we've got the returning items out of the way, we're going to move on to the new items that they released with this season. The first of which being the Chaos Exploder Rifle. This gun has a bit of an interesting history. Yeah, this thing was basically the best gun in the season before they nerfed it, and then it was the Ranger Pistol. Now that it has been nerfed, I still personally really like it. It's basically just like a heavy AR if it had like explosives on it. So in my opinion, really good AR, and it's not broken enough, but it's also not bad enough, in my opinion, so I really like it. And also there's a mythic one, which you could find by killing the Dark Voyager, so that's pretty cool. Then we have the Surgical Burst AR, which, in my opinion, is very similar to, like, the Burst AR from Chapter 1, if it was actually good. And I like it. I really like this burst rifle, especially after they, for whatever reason, buffed it quite a bit. I didn't think it needed the buffs, but I'm not exactly gonna complain about it. But once again, it got overshadowed by the Ranger Pistol. You're just better off taking the Ranger Pistol this season. But overall, I do like the Surgical Burst. And you can also get a mythic one from killing Void Blades. That's pretty cool. And we have the Extend and Focus Shotgun, which, in my opinion, just absolutely dunked on the Striker Pump and the Maven. Basically, think of it as like the Gatekeeper shotgun if it was a little bit worse and had a lot more range. In my opinion, the best shotgun in this season, but I still think it's a lot worse than basically all of the shotguns from Showdown, and like they literally should have just kept the shotgun loot pill from showdown and just put it in this season, I don't think anybody would have complained. Oh, and I forgot to mention this as well. Skeletor drops a Mythic Extend Focus, so that's nice. We have the Lancehead Pistol, which was made for the John Wick collab that's in the past. Nice high damage and semi-auto pistol. Personally, probably my favorite pistol in this season. Like, I don't know what it is about the Lancehead, but I really like it. Especially the mechanic where if you fully empty the clip, you just throw the magazine at someone and deal like 50 damage. I really like that. But objectively, it is worse than the Ranger Pistol. Like, you're just better off taking the Ranger Pistol than the Lancehead, but overall, I like the Lancehead, and I hope it stays for next season. It probably won't do. And you also did have a chance of getting a mythic one from rescuing John Wick's dog at either Sinister Strip or the Battlewood, so that's nice. Then we had the main mobility item for this season, the 7 sliders. I really like the 7 sliders. I don't know if I like them as much as the power gloves from last season, but I do really like them. It's basically just sliding on steroids. Like, it is super powerful, this item. Now, obviously, it overheats after a few seconds of using it, but if you use it in water, you can just keep the actual 7 sliders from overheating as long as you don't get out of the water, and of course, you don't run out of durability. And you could also find mythic ones in the vaults at either Sinister Strip or Frosted Flats that basically just lasted forever. Like, you didn't have to worry about overheating or 7 sliders breaking from durability. Like, you could just use them forever. No strings attached. Yeah, I can't speak. Overall, I really like the 7 sliders. I think they're a really nice mobility item. Oh boy, and now the main feature we have to talk about here, the giant elephant in the room that I only kind of addressed when reviewing The Guardian, which is the sprites. Yes, they brought back sprites this season, and they're basically the main focus. I'm not going to go too in-depth with them in here. I already made a video discussing the whole sprite system, so if you want my overall thoughts on the sprites, go check that out. I think it's a cool idea for a system, but I feel like they could have done it a little bit better. Basically, you could equip a sprite from the lobby, you can take it into a game with you. There's a bunch of different sprites, of course, that give you like all kinds of different effects. I'm not going to go over all of them here. And you could also level up these sprites to level 5 by opening ammo boxes or chests or eliminating people, just basically playing the game. And if you took those sprites into the game with you, you had the risk of potentially losing them until you go back to the lobby and just buy them back with sprite dust, of course, so it practically eliminates the risk. Or you can go to the extraction sites that are around the map and place them in the extraction crate and take them back to the lobby so you don't lose them. Now, there were 10 of these sprites in the game, and also gold variants with all of them as well, of course, which only just gave you like slightly more XP. It wasn't that great. And you find these sprites by basically just playing the game and looting chests, and there's also these specific sprite chests that would guarantee a sprite out of them, which is pretty neat. And also, another way of extracting them was to use these portable extractors that you could do by either completing daily challenges, which you can't do that bit anymore, unfortunately.
Are you serious right now, bro?
Or the current only way you can get the portable extractors, which is to buy them at the extraction sites with sprite dust, which you get by extracting the sprites, and like I said earlier, can also be used to resummon your sprites. It's basically just rivalry credits from last season, but for the sprites. Overall, though, I think it's a cool idea for a system, but seeing as it's staying next season, I really hope there is some drastic improvements made of them, because I feel like it's pretty much needed with the sprites at this point. Like I said, though, if you want to hear my full thoughts about the sprites, go check out my video on them. How about new? And now we need to go through all the content that was added free out this season. So on June 11th, they added gummy sprite variants, which give you about 20% more sprite dust when you extracted.
We do not care.
And they also added the burnt peanut.
Mods, chop off his ball.
Yeah, just kill this thing, please. And on June 18th, they added the Galaxy variants for the sprites, which gave you 40% more ammo when you would pick up ammo in the world.
We do not care.
There's going to be a very common theme here, with the main content being just sprite variants, by the way, just a heads up. And on June 25th, we got the 41.10 update, which added 2 rift anomalies to the game, Sprite Hunt and Safe Extraction. Safe Extraction would basically just add friend bubbles around the extraction sites, and you couldn't shoot or kill people while you're in there, so that's nice. And Sprite Hunt added some chests around the map, which would guarantee you sprite variants. So if you're looking to build up your sprite collection, there's a rift anomaly strictly for that. We also got shock rocks this update, which is a very interesting movement item. You can obviously find these in chests or at Shaken Sanctuary or around the 0 point, and it would basically just let you triple jump, like Bugs Bunny if he was on steroids. Well, I do like this item. I think it's very fun to use. It's not so fun when someone just has eluded him and just is able to easily run away from you. So, great when I'm using them. I hate them though when someone else uses them. And then we have the Quack Snacks, which you could buy at the vending machines for 1500 gold, or you could just randomly find them in chests. It would give you either 50 health or shield, depending on what you needed, and not only that, but they would also fully level up a sprite by 1 level. So let's say your sprite was at level 4, well, you could just use a Quack Snack and get it all the way to level 5 instantly without having to search chests or anything, which is pretty nice. I like that. And there was also a summer event, quote unquote, that I forgot to name off, and it's a pretty sorry excuse for a summer event because it didn't really do too much. They did unveil some items for it though, which is pretty nice, such as the Hot Rock Dailies, the Stink Rifle, and the Slapberry Fizz, and a lot more stuff that I've completely forgotten. And they also added back golden fishing spots with this event, which you could use to easily find some gold sprite variants. So if you were in need of the gold sprites, there you go. Speaking of sprites, I also added 5 new sprites to this update, which were the Striker, Aura, Fishy, Boss, and Grim sprites. Once again, the Grim one is the rarest one, being at like 1 in a million, I'm pretty sure, so a stupid spawn rate similar to the 0.1. And unlike most of the ones that were added on launch, these ones were actually all mostly useful, which is pretty nice. Not the fishy one though, the fishy one was pretty mid. And on July 9th, they added the hollow foil sprite variants, which would give your squad a 5% increased chance to find other variants. They used to be 30, but then they reduced it to 5 because you can stack them. So let's say you have 4 squad members, bring in hollow foil sprite each, that basically increases your chances to 20%, which is pretty nice.
We care.
Oh, and they basically got rid of all the summer unvaults, so yeah. And on July 16th, we got the 41.20 update, which was the Hot Bat Summer event starting up, which is pretty cool. And they added a very interesting mechanic in this, which was the Battle Bus Exfil, which is once again a Rift anomaly, and basically, at a certain point in the game, the Battle Bus would spawn in the middle of whatever storm circle you're in, and you had 2 minutes to get there, otherwise it would leave. But whoever got on the bus would win the game, and multiple teams could get on the bus, and basically meant multiple people could win the game, which is pretty nice. But the main issue with the Battle Bus Exfil is it would immediately end the game even after the bus left. So if you didn't get on the bus, well, tough luck, you lost. I think it's a cool idea for a Rift Anomaly, but I think some improvements to, well, improve it would be to make the storm circle constantly shrink onto the bus, so it forces more people to gather and you can't just hide until like 15 seconds are left to get on the bus. And also, don't have the game end after the bus ends. Like, whoever's left, just have them duke it out until the last one standing wins. So overall, cool idea for a mechanic, but definitely needs some improvements if it's gonna stick around. And they also added Catwoman, Poison Ivy, and Harley Quinn as bosses to the map, with each of them dropping their own respective item. So Catwoman would drop a Mythic Rapid-Fire SMG. Ivy would drop a Mythic Ranger Pistol, as if the Ranger Pistol wasn't already broken enough, and Harley would drop a Mythic Warforged AR. Don't bother picking that up, it's shit. Now, they did unvault some items with this update, including Rapid-Fire SMG, Heavy Impact Sniper, and the Batman Grapnel Gun, which we haven't seen since Season X, which is pretty nice. They didn't unvault the Batarangs, though, for some reason. I don't know why. They should have done that. Overall, some cool unvaults, but with the Rapid Fire and Heavy Impact coming in, they unfortunately vaulted the Hunting Rifle and the Flax SMG. Hunting Rifle and Fire being replaced by the Heavy Impact, but I was really upset about the Flax SMG getting vaulted by objectively a worse SMG choice. Then we had the Batman Beach Buggy, which basically just worked like a normal car, except if you drove it off, like, let's say, the side of a cliff or a mountain, some wings would pop out of the side of the car and would start gliding about the place, which is pretty cool. Then we got the Bank Shot Pistol, which finally we got the 7 pistol that was seen in the Chapter 2 finale that Jones used. I'm really happy they finally added it. I give it as like similar to the Mammoth pistol if you use it, but there's a twist with it. If you shot the Bank Shot Pistol, it would shoot out bullets that would ricochet off different structures, which is the whole gimmick of the pistol. Oh, but yeah, what reason is there to use the ricocheting bullets? Well, let me tell you, if you're able to ricochet the billet and have it land on a player, it deals even more damage. There's actually an incentive of using the ricocheting shot rather than just straight up shooting it at the person, which you can do for a pretty hefty amount of damage. You can get even more damage if you're able to land the shot you ricocheted off an object onto someone. So overall, I really like this pistol. Do I like it more than the Lancet or Ranger? I'm not too sure though, but I really hope it sticks around for Season 4. It probably won't do, let's be honest. And then they added a Golden Apple with this update. Yeah, a golden apple. For some reason, it gives you 50 health and low gravity for 9 seconds. Bit of a random choice, I must say. And then they added 4 new sprites, which was the Batman, Vinny Jr., Arrow, and 7 sprites. And all of these are actually useful, so that's nice. And then finally, in this update, they added 2 new gizmos, which was the Sprite Locator and the Extraction Sight Booster. Sprite Locator would locate a random sprite in a chest.
No way!
The Extraction Sight Booster, if you used it at an extraction site, would give you more sprite dust when you extracted a sprite, which is pretty nice. And on July 23rd, we got the Poyo sprite, which, once again, another useful sprite. I think it's pretty neat. And then we got some cube sprite variants, which would give you the overdrive effect while you're in the storm.
We care.
Probably the only one that's really useful apart from the hollow foil, so yeah. And on July 30th, we got the final update of the season, the 41.30 update. There wasn't a lot in this, I'm gonna be real. We got 3 new sprites, which was the Peely sprite, the Luton Llama sprite, and the John Wick sprite. The Peely and Llama ones are okay, but the John Wick sprite is really good. But the thing with this one is you can only find it in Reload, so yeah, that's pretty bad. Although you could take it into BR with you, so realistically you could kill someone who got a John Wick sprite in BR and get it for yourself, which is nice. We got the Quack sprite variants, which were added to the main reward track of the sprite collection. And if you got 55 of the sprites mastered, you would get all the Quack variants, which is pretty cool. One of which being a 0-point sprite. And they also unvaulted the Spire Rifle this update, which is one of my favorite ARs. I'm really happy they unvaulted it. And with this update, they also vaulted specifically the uncommon and rare versions of the Chaos Exploder, so you can still get the epic, legendary, and mythic ones, just not any of the blue rarities for whatever reason. They vaulted the business turret.
Yes! 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 Yes!
I'm sure you can guess how I felt about that. And this is one they failed to mention in the patch notes, but they also vaulted the Stinger SMG for some reason, so effectively the only SMG choice by the end of the season was the Rapid Fire, which I'm going to be honest is a pretty mid SMG. I'm not biggest fan of it. At least in zero build and builds, I could see it being useful, but I just don't get why they vaulted the Stinger into Flaxo. Like, I just don't think that was needed. And on August 1st, they unvaulted the Spider-Man web shooters, which I was very happy about. Obviously, this is for a brand new day releasing. Great film, by the way. Spoiler alert, though, Spider-Man swings about the place. They're still as satisfying to use as they were in Chapter 3 and Chapter 4. I love them. One of my favorite mobility items. And on August 4th, we got the Iron Mouse sprite. Once again, another useful sprite. I like it. And then the final new addition we got with this season were the Gem sprite variants, which just reduce your fall damage by 30%. Yeah, like, literally, probably one of the most useless effects from a sprite. Like, I can literally just take an air sprite and just nullify fall damage completely. Like, I don't really get it. I have to say, to be honest, the updates this season were pretty underwhelming, because they mainly just focused on the sprites. Like, if we're not counting sprites or unvaults, we got only 5 new items, which I have to say is pretty embarrassing. That's obviously if we're not counting sprites, unvaults, or any of the new stuff we gotten on launch. And even though we did get a lot of sprites this season, 117 to be exact, only 25 of them were actually unique and different from each other. The other 92-ish, I'm pretty sure, are just variants. Like, variants that don't even do anything to help impact your gameplay. They're just there for faction-based purposes. That's literally it. Overall, I feel like they could have just done the updates for the season a lot better and added more stuff that wasn't related to the sprites, because if you don't care about the sprites, then there's not really much to this season. So overall, what do I think of this season? I do think it's great. I actually quite like this season. Obviously, I've had my fun moments of it, many of which came from playing with my friends, of course. But like I said, Epic just focused way too much on the sprites, which I think can be a cool addition to the game, and obviously we know they're staying next season, but I don't know, like, what doesn't help with the sprites as well is they just didn't impact your gameplay all too much. Like, there was a very specific few sprites that would actually help you out in the game, but most of them were pretty bad. They did get better with adding more useful sprites as the season went on, but a lot of the ones that came out on the day of runners just are very useless. Obviously, if you like collecting all these sprites and their specific variants, you probably had a field day in the season. Like, you probably find it to be an absolute blast, which if you did, I'm happy for you. But for someone like me who just didn't really care too much about collecting the sprites, obviously if it saw any variants I didn't have, I would go out of my way to collect them, but I wasn't playing the game specifically to collect every single variant, you know? So for someone like me, there just isn't that much to the season. And while I do think it is better, well, slightly better than Chapter 7 Season 1, it is nowhere near the level of Chapter 7 Season 2 Showdown, which, as I've said before, is my current favorite season of all time. And I'll be honest, it's probably going to be a very tough season for just any season in the future, you know? So overall, I do really like this season, but I do hope Epic pushes sprites over to the side and makes way for actual new content for next season, which is now confirmed to be like themed around like video games and stuff. Like, we have already had Sonic teased, which is pretty cool. I'm really excited for the Sonic collab next season, so at this moment in time, I'm just kind of waiting for the season to end. Overall, I thought it was fun while it lasted, but I'm ready to see runners end, unfortunately. And of course, it was because of that damn blue hedgehog. So yeah, that was a bit of a might fill up a video. My throat is definitely tired from all that information I just spewed out. So if you made it this far into the video, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. And we'll definitely be doing this next season with Chapter 7 Season 4 Override. We'll definitely be reviewing the season as a whole when it comes to an end. So be on the lookout for that next season and just whatever videos I put out throughout the season. And by the time you're watching this, we're a day away from Season 4 starting. At the current moment of recording this, it's the 12th of August, but by the time you're watching this, it'll be the day before the season launches, hopefully. So I'll be streaming the season tomorrow at probably 10 p.m. UK time, so if you're interested in that, come join twitch.tv/JackOXtreme, link in the description. Love to have you there.
How about new?
If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, only if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new and turn on notifications to never miss a video that I upload. I want to thank you guys for watching. Have a good one, and I'll see you all next time in Fortnite Overdrive.